So it is evening of Easter Sunday. My whole plan of vlogging every day and uploading a little vlog every day of Holy Week, it so didn't happen. I did vlog, and I do have some videos of things that happened throughout the week that I am going to put up. But this week was just so crazy with preparing and all of that I just wasn't really thinking all that much about vlogging. Like I said, I videoed some stuff that was happening, and so I am going to put that in there. But this is going to be a little bit more of a non-traditional type vlog because it was a really busy week. So I thought I would just take a couple of minutes here before I go into the videos of all of that and just kind of give you a rundown of the week and what it looked like. So last Sunday, a week ago, was Palm Sunday, and that churches went really well. I had a really good turnout at my country church. There were quite a few people there, and I was getting a little worried because attendance had been down a little bit, but it boosted back up on Palm Sunday, so I was very happy about that. And in both churches, I kind of issued a challenge to my congregations to invite and bring some people with them to church for Easter Sunday. It's kind of a big day in the church calendar. So I issued that challenge. I had both of the kids with me for Palm Sunday, which was nice. They got to be involved in my country church that has quite a few kids and an active Sunday school. One of the traditions is at the beginning of the service, you process in waving palm buds or palm fronds or some sort of a palm branch to signify Jesus' entry into Jerusalem for his final week of his life. So they were able to be there for that. And I had a lot of kids. I had 13 kids or something like that for Sunday school. It was great. And then after the church services, we drove over to my mom's house because my mom and my grandpa had flown back from Florida, and the kids were able to see my grandpa. We had dinner. My grandpa seemed okay-ish. He's in kidney failure, and kidney failure is very strange because you don't really know how it's going to go. You don't know how well the kidneys are functioning, if they stop functioning and then they start functioning again. So it's really kind of this big question mark, and we don't really know how this is going to shape up. And it's just, kind of from one moment to the next. But he seemed okay, which was good because the kids got to see him and got to talk to him and interact with him. And that was really good. But while we were there, Philip was complaining that his stomach hurt on the car ride over. And sometimes he gets a little bit car sick. And it was a sunny day, and so the sun was shining in through the car, and it was a little bit warm in the car. And so I thought, well, he was just a little bit car sick, because that does happen to him from time to time. But when we got to my mom's, he kept complaining about his stomach hurting, and he kept wanting to go lay down. And he did eat a little bit of bread was all he really had for dinner, and my mom had made a pot roast, and my kids love this, so it wasn't like it was food that he didn't want to eat, but he just kept going back and laying down. And then my mom had gotten dye and had hard-boiled eggs for the kids to color Easter eggs, and he didn't even really want to do that a whole lot. He went back and laid down. He did get his eggs colored. And then we were kind of finishing everything up, and he comes in and asks where he can throw up. So he threw up, and he did make it to the bathroom, but of course he throws up in the bathroom that my grandpa uses. So I'm like, oh my gosh, really worried. So I'm in there with bleach and spraying everything down and trying to clean it all up, and it was awful. So he was home from school then on Monday. And then Abby was complaining about her stomach hurting too. And so it was just like, oh my goodness, the kids are not feeling very well. And it's Holy Week, and my grandpa is not doing very well. And oh my gosh, how am I going to do all of this? Abby turned out to be okay. She did fine. She didn't miss any school. Philip did miss Monday because he had thrown up the day before. And then Wednesday, Abby had a band showing, I guess. I don't want to call it a concert because they played one song for her jazz band, which she has started doing. So we went to that, and it was quick. We were in, we were out, we were back home. Thursday night, so Thursday is called Holy Thursday or Maundy Thursday, and it is usually a time of remembrance of Jesus holding his Last Supper with his disciples, and also kind of the time of his arrest and trial by Pontius Pilate and the Jewish leaders. So it's kind of a more somber time. And so we went over to David's church because he was having a Holy Thursday service and my church was not doing Holy Thursday. So we went over to that service and then went over to his house afterwards because he had made Easter baskets for the kids and they got to find their Easter baskets and play with Lily, his dog. Then Friday, which was Good Friday, I was kind of like finalizing everything for the church service on Good Friday, and then one of my parishioners' husbands passed away, but I didn't have to do the funeral, but I did need to go over to the visitation, and then I had to take Abby to her dad. Philip was with me the whole weekend, and then we had to go over and do my Good Friday church, or my Good Friday service, and I was so pleased with how my Good Friday service went. I can't believe how well it went. Did something kind of cool. We drove some nails into a cross as kind of like remembrance of the meaning of the crucifixion and the resurrection, and it was really, really cool and really powerful, and I had people from both of my churches involved in the service, and I had 63 people at my service, and I was like, for a off night, these are not large churches by any stretch of the imagination. Average attendance at the one is between 30 and 40, and the other is between, I'd say 45 and 55 every Sunday. So even though they were together, to have 63 people in the church was just amazing, and I was so pleased with the turnout. I was pleased with how well it did. I was just pleased with how the whole thing came together, and everyone did work really hard on it, and so it just went super well. So that was Good Friday. Yesterday, Holy Saturday, we went back to David's church. They had a breakfast and an Easter egg hunt, so we participated in that. And then we came home, and Philip he just kind of did whatever while I was preparing everything for the Easter service, all of my finalizing, running through all of the sermons, and all of that. And then this morning I did a sunrise service at 7:30 at my country church, and then there was a breakfast after that, and then there was the regular service at 9:30, and then my regular service at my other church at 11. So we did 3 church services, and that was kind of a long day. Long morning. Philip, I have never seen this kid be that good. He was so good. He was so well behaved. He sat still. He sat in his pew or his chair. He kept his eyes on me. He listened. He paid attention. He stood up and he sang the hymns. I was like, whoa, who are you and what have you done with my son? I was so proud of him. He did such a great job. And to sit through 3 church services, he is 7 years old. I was really, really proud of him. I was pleased again with the turnout for the churches. My country church, between the 2 services, I had 106 people. And then my other church, it's still a country church, but it's in a town, kind of. Whereas my other one is not in a town. It's at an intersection of two roads surrounded by farms. So it's very, very much a country church. So my second church, which is my town church, I use that term loosely because there's not much of a town here. I was so proud of them. When I issued that challenge, they answered, and they had 82 people. This is a church that if I get 40 on a Sunday, I couldn't believe it. I was so proud of them. I was really, really impressed. It was awesome. So that was great. And I felt like the services went well. We had lots of guests. Hopefully some of those guests will come back. But it was great. And then we went up. I had a little bit of a break, a little bit of downtime. Did a little bit of knitting. And then we went up to my mom's again to have dinner with my aunt and my grandpa. And then we came back home. And I'm pretty tired. I've been knitting. So I am gonna stop babbling at you about the craziness of Holy Week. There'll be some footage coming up after this. But I do want to say that I will be back for a regular podcast this Friday, like normal. It's hard to say when it goes up because sometimes my internet does weird stuff and I think I'm uploading the podcast, but it doesn't get uploaded. The kids are on spring break this week. I am making a trip to Chicago to visit my seminary that I will be going to. So, yeah. So it'll be a good week, and I will hopefully get some knitting done because I am on vacation starting Tuesday. So hopefully I can get some knitting in and be able to show you guys some stuff for the podcast next week. So I hope everyone who celebrates Easter had a lovely Easter. If you are your kids and spring break time is coming around, I hope you've had a great spring break if you've already had it, or a good one that is to come. Safe travels for all of you wherever you may be going, and I will see you all later on, I guess later in the week, for a regular podcast. So happy knitting, guys. Bye.